His world stopped spinning when she said those words. Two simple words that changed everything. I'm pregnant. Marcus stood frozen, his expensive dress shirt half-buttoned, as Sophia's eyes filled with tears. How could this happen? He was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, she was his executive assistant, and now, this revelation threatened to unravel everything they'd built. But sometimes life's greatest challenges lead to unexpected blessings. This is their story, one of love, sacrifice, and finding strength when the world seems determined to break you. If you've ever faced an impossible choice or found yourself at a crossroads, this story might just give you the courage to take that next step. Like and subscribe if you want more stories that touch your heart and remind you that even in our darkest moments, hope finds a way. Marcus Reynolds couldn't move. The words hung in the air between them, heavy and life-altering. I'm pregnant, Sophia had whispered, her fingers nervously playing with the hem of his white dress shirt that she wore, the only thing she wore. The morning sunlight streamed through the penthouse windows, highlighting the tears forming in her eyes. Say something, she pleaded, her voice barely audible. But what could he say? At 42, Marcus had built Horizon Technologies from nothing into a tech empire. His life was board meetings, investor calls, and strategic planning, not diapers and midnight feedings. And Sophia, beautiful, brilliant Sophia had been his executive assistant for 3 years before their relationship crossed professional boundaries 6 months ago. How, he finally managed, immediately regretting the stupidity of the question. A sad smile touched her lips. The usual way, I imagine. Marcus ran his hand through his salt and pepper hair, his mind racing through calculations and consequences. The board would have a field day with this. His ex-wife would use this to renegotiate their custody agreement for their teenage son. The press would turn their relationship into a tawdry office scandal. We've been careful, he said, more to himself than to her. Not careful enough, apparently. Sophia wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly looking small and vulnerable in his oversized shirt. I understand if you need time to process this. I'm still processing it myself. Marcus crossed the room to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. The empire he'd built spread out before him, glass and steel monuments to his success. But in this moment, it all felt hollow. How long have you known? He asked, his back still to her. 3 days. I took 4 tests to be sure. He turned to face her, studying the woman who had somehow become essential to both his professional and personal life. Sophia Chen was 34, brilliant, with an MBA from Wharton and a quiet confidence that had impressed him from her first interview. Her dark hair fell in waves around her face, and even now, scared and uncertain, she carried herself with dignity. What do you want to do? He asked carefully. Her eyes flashed. I'm keeping it, if that's what you're asking. Beyond that. She shrugged. I don't expect anything from you, Marcus. I can raise this child on my own. The thought of Sophia raising their child alone sent an unexpected pang through his chest. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Challenge colored her voice. Marcus crossed the room and sat beside her on the edge of the bed, careful to maintain some distance between them. I meant, what do you want? For yourself, for the baby, for us, if there still is an us. Sophia's expression softened. I don't know. Everything's happened so fast. 3 days ago, my biggest concern was the Peterson merger. Despite everything, Marcus smiled. The Peterson merger seems like a lifetime ago now. It does, she agreed, a small smile playing at her lips before fading. I should go. You have that board meeting at 10, and I need to stay, he said, surprising himself with the intensity in his voice. The board can wait. For the first time since dropping her bombshell, Sophia looked truly surprised. In 3 years, she had never known Marcus Reynolds to put anything before business. Marcus. I'm not saying I have answers, he interrupted. I'm saying we should figure this out together. Whatever this becomes. Sophia nodded slowly, relief washing over her features. Together, she repeated, as if testing the word. Neither of them knew what the future held, but in that moment, frozen in time in his penthouse with the morning sun illuminating their uncertain path forward, together was enough to start with. The next few weeks passed in a blur of morning sickness, secret doctor's appointments, and hushed conversations behind closed doors. They agreed to keep the pregnancy private until they figured out how to navigate the professional complications. Marcus found himself researching pregnancy symptoms late at night, ordering books on parenting that arrived in discreet packages, and staring at his calendar with new perspective. The board meeting ran long, Marcus said, letting himself into Sophia's apartment with the key she'd given him. Peterson's lawyers are being difficult about the intellectual property clauses. He stopped short when he saw her curled on the sofa, a tissue clutched in her hand, eyes red from crying. What happened? Alarm shot through him as he rushed to her side. Is it the baby? Sophia shook her head. The baby's fine. I had my first ultrasound today. Today? Why didn't you tell me? I would have been there. She gave him a watery smile. That's why I didn't tell you. You had the Peterson meeting. I didn't want to complicate things. Marcus felt a surge of frustration. Sophia, this isn't a complication. This is our child. Is it? She asked quietly. Because sometimes it feels like a secret we're keeping until we figure out the least damaging way to reveal it. Her words hit him like a physical blow. She wasn't wrong. They'd been tiptoeing around the reality of their situation, postponing decisions, avoiding the inevitable fallout. I'm sorry, he said, taking her hand. You're right. I've been treating this like a problem to solve rather than the miracle it is. Sophia's eyes widened at his choice of words. A miracle? Marcus surprised himself with the certainty he felt. Yes. Unexpected, complicated, terrifying, but a miracle nonetheless. He squeezed her hand. I want to see the ultrasound. She reached for her purse and pulled out a small black and white image. Marcus stared at the grainy picture, trying to make sense of the shapes until Sophia pointed to a small bean-like form. That's our baby, she whispered. Something shifted in Marcus's chest, a tectonic movement of priorities and perspectives. This tiny bean was his child. His and Sophia's. The reality of it struck him with unexpected force. We need to tell people, he said suddenly. Starting with the board. Sophia sat up straighter. Are you sure? The timing with the Peterson deal. The timing will never be perfect, he interrupted. And I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of pretending that the most important thing happening in my life is a business deal. What about your position? The company will survive. And if it doesn't, we'll build something new. He surprised himself with the conviction in his voice. Something that reflects who we are now, not who we were. Sophia studied his face, searching for doubt or hesitation. Finding none, she leaned forward and kissed him softly. Okay, she whispered against his lips. Together. The board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. sharp. Marcus arrived at 8:30, earlier than usual, to find Sophia already at her desk outside his office, looking pale but determined in a conservative navy dress that concealed her still flat stomach. Ready? He asked, stopping at her desk. She nodded, though her knuckles were white around her coffee mug. As I'll ever be. Whatever happens in there, Marcus said quietly, remember that he stopped, the words catching in his throat. They hadn't said those words to each other yet, despite everything. Sophia's expression softened. I know, she said. Me too. The boardroom filled gradually with the 12 men and women who helped steer Horizon Technologies. Marcus watched them take their seats, chatting about quarterly projections and market fluctuations, completely unaware that their CEO was about to drop a bombshell. "Before we begin," Marcus said once everyone was settled, "I have a personal announcement." The room quieted, curious eyes turning to him. He gestured for Sophia to join him at the head of the table, and confusion flickered across several faces. "As some of you may know, Ms. Chen has been my executive assistant for 3 years. What you don't know is that for the past 6 months, our relationship has evolved beyond the professional." He took a deep breath. "Sophia and I are expecting a child together." The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus watched the reactions ripple around the table, shock, disapproval, calculation, and from a few, genuine happiness. Victoria Winters, the longest-serving board member and a close friend, was the first to speak. "Congratulations to you both," she said warmly, though her eyes held questions. Others followed with stilted congratulations, but Marcus could see the wheels turning. Finally, Richard Blackwood, always the most direct of the group, cleared his throat. "While I extend my personal congratulations," he said carefully, "I must address the professional implications. An intimate relationship between a CEO and his direct report raises significant concerns about conflicts of interest, preferential treatment, and potential liability for the company." Marcus nodded. "I understand those concerns, which is why effective immediately, Sophia will be transitioning out of her role as my assistant." Sophia's head snapped toward him in surprise. They hadn't discussed this. "She will be taking a position in our nonprofit foundation," Marcus continued, "reporting directly to the foundation's board, not to me. This separation of professional responsibilities should address any concerns about conflicts of interest." The tension in the room eased slightly, but Richard wasn't finished. "And what about the company's image? The press will have a field day with this." "They might," Marcus acknowledged. "But Horizon Technologies has always prided itself on being a forward-thinking company that values its employees as people first. We'll weather whatever storm comes." Victoria leaned forward. "I think what Richard is trying to say, Marcus, is that the timing is concerning. With the Peterson merger hanging in the balance and our stock price finally recovering from last quarter's dip, any negative publicity could be costly." "I'm aware of the timing," Marcus said firmly. "And I'm prepared to step back temporarily if the board feels my personal life might jeopardize the company's interests." A murmur ran through the room. This was unexpected. "Step back?" Victoria repeated. "You mean resign?" "I mean take a leave of absence if necessary, until the merger is complete and any media attention dies down. James is more than capable of handling CEO duties in the interim." He nodded toward his COO, who looked both surprised and pleased at the vote of confidence. The board members exchanged glances, clearly reassessing the situation. Marcus had just demonstrated that he valued the company's welfare above his own position, a move that was both strategic and sincere. "I don't think that will be necessary," Victoria said after a moment. "But I appreciate your willingness to put the company first. Perhaps we should discuss a communication strategy to get ahead of any potential media coverage." The meeting shifted into a discussion of press releases and talking points. Sophia remained silent beside Marcus, her expression unreadable. When the board finally moved on to regular business, she excused herself quietly. Marcus found her in his office afterward, staring out the window at the city below. "You didn't tell me about the foundation position," she said without turning around. "I made the decision this morning," he admitted. "I should have discussed it with you first." She turned to face him. "Yes, you should have. I've worked hard to build my career here, Marcus. I don't want a charity position because I'm having the boss's baby." "It's not charity," he insisted. "You're overqualified for your current position, and you've mentioned wanting to do more meaningful work. The foundation needs someone with your organizational skills and vision." "But it should have been my choice," she said firmly. "My career, my decision." Marcus ran a hand through his hair. You're right. I'm sorry. Old habits of making executive decisions without consultation. He moved closer to her. If you don't want the foundation position, we'll find another solution. Together. Sophia's expression softened slightly. The foundation work does sound interesting, she admitted. But next time, we discuss major life decisions before announcing them to a room full of board members. Deal, Marcus said, relieved. How are you feeling? About everything else? Terrified, she said honestly. But also, strangely okay. The secret's out, at least to the board. That's one hurdle down. Many more to go, Marcus acknowledged. Including telling my son. Sophia's eyes widened. I hadn't even thought about that. How do you think Jason will take it? Marcus sighed. He's 16. He'll probably be horrified that his father still has sex, let alone that he's having a baby with a woman only 18 years older than him. Despite the tension, Sophia laughed. When will you tell him? This weekend. He's staying with me. Marcus hesitated. I'd like you to be there, if you're comfortable with that. Sophia bit her lip. Are you sure? It might be easier for him to process without me there. Maybe, Marcus conceded. But I want him to know this isn't casual. That we're building something real. The words hung between them, full of promise and uncertainty. Sophia nodded slowly. Okay. This weekend. The weekend arrived too quickly. Jason was dropped off by his mother on Friday evening, lanky and sullen in the way only teenagers can be, his attention immediately absorbed by his phone. How's school? Marcus asked as they rode the elevator up to the penthouse. Jason shrugged. Fine. Basketball team? It's okay. Marcus suppressed a sigh. Every conversation with his son felt like pulling teeth lately. The divorce 5 years ago had been hard on Jason, and the distance that had grown between them weighed heavily on Marcus's conscience. I thought we could order from that Thai place you like for dinner, Marcus offered. And there's someone I'd like you to meet. This finally got Jason's attention. He looked up from his phone, suspicion in his eyes. Who? Her name is Sophia. She works at Horizon with me. Jason's eyes narrowed. Is she your girlfriend or something? Or something, Marcus said carefully. She'll be here in about an hour. Jason rolled his eyes and went back to his phone. Whatever. The hour passed with Marcus trying unsuccessfully to engage his son in conversation. When the doorbell rang, he felt a mixture of relief and anxiety. Sophia stood in the hallway looking nervous but beautiful in jeans and a simple blouse, her hair loose around her shoulders. Hi, she said softly. Hi, Marcus replied, suddenly feeling like a teenager himself. He stepped back to let her in. Jason's in the living room. They found him sprawled on the couch, still glued to his phone. He looked up briefly when they entered, his eyes assessing Sophia with teenage indifference. Jason, this is Sophia. Sophia, my son Jason.